Welcome to the One Fall WrestleCast.
What fall?
Hey, gentlemen, how we doing today?
What's up, fellas?
Surviving.
Yeah, well, that's
Little
better
bit.
than not surviving, right?
I mean, yeah, mostly. I'm mostly a survivor today.
Rough day
Another
at the
week into
office, huh, pal?
2021.
Yeah, today was just a day that I survived. It wasn't a day that I thrived. But that's all right. Tomorrow's another day.
Yeah, you can't win them all.
Nah, I lost it.
Hey, you gotta save all your best stuff for tonight. You know, you can't go too hard at work
exactly
on
what I
a
did.
odd night. So
That's exactly what I did. I tripped over myself all day, and now I can maybe not suck tonight. That'd be good.
Yeah. It's a bold strategy.
See if it works out for him, Cotton.
So, lots of craziness today, huh?
I mean,
You know,
I wasn't expecting it, but I know what you're about to say, so go ahead and say it.
So here's the thing. So, like, we kind of came into today with a different plan, and then it happened. As of March 18th, the WWE Network will be no more. It has been officially licensed through NBC Universal, more specifically the Peacock Streaming app.
That's a really interesting development. Initially, I have some positive thoughts on it. One, it makes it cheaper, $5 a month. Plus, when you're not watching wrestling, you can just stream The Office nonstop now because they also have The Office. So they have The Office, and not that I stream The Office. No, I don't. I haven't watched The Office in it probably since it went off the air, but that's neither here nor there. But NBC Universal also owns USA, and NBC is also going to be since Derek's in his Pens gear today. NBC is also going to be closing down the NBC Sports Network and moving all of their Stanley Cup coverage to USA as well, which I think is part of. I think it's all interwoven into this deal. If I think, because I think what's going to end up happening is Raw on USA clearly not doing the greatest numbers right now because it's a terrible show. I watched it. I don't remember what happened because it was all bad. Oh no, I do remember the jump the shark moment, but the rest of it is totally forgettable.
Yeah,
I didn't watch it because you told me not to.
Yeah,
it's not even a show worth paying attention to. But I do think that they're having it there, at least initially, will be good. And I don't know how long the deal is for. It's a multi-year deal.
Yeah, it's the actual terms of the deal have not been disclosed by neither NBC Universal or the WWE, but a person close to the negotiations said that it was for 5 years and it's worth more than $1 billion.
Yeah, I heard the $1 billion number.
nice.
I mean, they're getting all the old content too, which I feel like that's what's worthwhile, because not only does Vince McMahon and WWE and Titan Sports own, obviously whatever 40 years of WWE greatness back when it was great. They also own all of WCW, which includes a lot of that old Jim Crockett promotion stuff, all those old SummerSlams, just some crazy good stuff. Plus, I think they own a lot of like other stuff, like some Mid-South wrestling. Some of that's on there.
They do. Yep.
So what else
Smoky
is on
Mountain,
there?
things like that.
What was Cornette's promotion?
Smoky Mountain.
Smoky Mountain.
That's on there too. A lot of that's really good too. I don't know that all of it's going to come over first day. It sounded like it wasn't. It was just going to sort of be integrated periodically. But
yeah, and see, that's why I'm not so excited. I'm kind of, and that's one of the things that I was thinking about earlier today is how is this going to affect the library really? Is there going to be things that they don't want? Is it going to cut the amount of entertainment value because it's getting the price cut down to $5?
Well, it is 17,000 hours or something like that of entertainment. It's decades worth of content. It's so much.
Yeah.
So essentially, what the couple articles that I read about it, I'm calling it WWE Peacock. I don't really know why. That's just what I have written in my notes here, and it's kind of silly.
I like that you have notes.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot of stuff here about this.
Walt's over here working on their marketing already.
Hey,
good job.
It is what it is, pal. You want to have quality content, you got to do a little bit of fucking research instead of just showing up and talking about shit like you do.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I can pull it off.
Yeah, sometimes. Must be nice to just sit
Tom
back.
shows up in yo-yos.
Must be nice to sit back and listen to Tom and I carry the show while you just hang out and look cute.
I mean, yeah, that's why I do my hair every day.
I mean, he is cute though, so it's hard to like look at him.
Like I said earlier, it's fortunate that it's not a deep pool of people here. You know, if I can be the face of it, I'll carry that burden.
I agree with you. Anywho,
he's the Rick Rude. He's the Rick Rude of our wrestling show here.
I'm gonna show up in tights the next episode with your guys' faces.
He's gonna show up in tights with somebody else's wife on the crotch. What would Rick Rude do?
Oh man.
So,
but yeah, I'm saying, man, not a good deal. I'm not up for this. I mean, it's whatever. I don't really have an option, obviously, but as a long-time subscriber to the WWE Network, I think initially it's going to be great. That seems like it's going to come across as some great value. Like Tom said, if I don't feel like watching wrestling, there's going to be thousands of hours of other options to watch, including The Office. Definitely a good choice. A lot of people enjoy The Office.
Parks and Recs.
And I mean, I'm assuming, you know, from what I've read, it's going to start off at $5 with ads, or you can go to $10 and get Peacock Premium with your WWE Network add-on and lose the ads, which is great for now, but I've already been paying $10. So I'm not seeing that as a long-term price point with these people. I'm going to say maybe it goes to the end of 2021. They can get the word out. They can build up some more revenue because we know recently USA Network has been complaining that ratings are down. They want to come out of this venture. They went on investing billions of dollars into WWE. And obviously, I'd say NBC Sports bringing over their programming. That's going to make a huge difference in that. But long term, man, I think it's going to get expensive, and I think it's going to be a cut in the archive footage and on the amount of content, basically, period. Another thing that I would kind of wonder about is how is SmackDown going to be handled? We know right now it's about 30 days after a show will air as far as Raw or SmackDown goes on cable. It'll then come to the network. But correct me if I'm wrong, I don't believe NBC owns Fox. Which is where
Fox is
right, which is of course where SmackDown is programming right now. So, are we going to somehow get that worked in a clause to where, or is this going to piss Fox off and they're going to try and block that from moving over?
Well, to that point, another thing that I want to point out, I currently very often end up watching on Hulu. I know, Walt, I know you do sometimes too. I tried to look. I didn't see if this affects Hulu. When they post
From
Raw.
what I've read, it does not.
Yeah, I
don't think there's been an official word of it, but just the way it was implied on the articles I was reading, it seems like it's still going to go through Hulu.
Yeah, I was looking for something a little more concrete, I think. I mean, obviously, I would hope not, because that's how I prefer to watch. I prefer to just, put it on Hulu and let it go like the next day. That's kind of my my ritual, because I'm an old man and I have stuff to do at night, and I'd rather play video games or go to bed or whatever than watch.
It's always better to wake up at 5 a.m. than stay up till 11 at night, is how I see it.
Yeah,
particularly
I don't want to. I certainly don't want to stay up to watch that content. Good Lord,
they better give me a reason to stay up that late. Right now, that's not happening.
Yeah. Let me stay up to be utterly disappointed in what's going on.
Right. It's like watching a Pens game into overtime and we lost. Really, now I got to go to bed pissed off.
Well,
great.
It's even worse than that, because it's like it's not even.
At least with Raw, you're going to be disappointed.
Oh my God! If you didn't watch Don't watch. I don't know if you watched last week, but oh god.
It was one of those. I had it on the background while I was doing other things. It wasn't after the sparkling review you gave last week. I wasn't gonna put too much investment into that.
Bad this week too. Or no, I guess it was last week. Oh, it
Yeah,
was last week. We're recording on a different day.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a funky schedule. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the same episode. There's Raw on right now. It may or may not be good. I'm not watching it. I don't know.
So as you guys are talking, I'm sitting here and I'm thumbing through some of the stuff that I had seen earlier, and one of the things says that it will include the network as we know it now, and then starting in 2022, it will also have one annual documentary that is unique to Peacock. So I mean that's pretty cool. We're gonna get some new content, stuff like that. I like the documentary stuff. I don't know if I'm in the minority here.
I mean, it depends on who it's
enjoy
about.
that kind of stuff. Yeah.
No, yeah, I definitely enjoy the documentaries.
Is it about Stone Cold and The Undertaker? Yeah, I'm into that. Is it about Leo Rush?
What's wrong with the Man of the Hour?
You disrespected good name of Leo Rush, the Moth.
I don't know. Just don't want to watch this documentary.
Well, you won't have
Honestly,
to.
I could go for some more WCW documentaries, but I'm a freaking Eric.
Yeah, I would watch a Kevin Nash documentary.
Ooh,
so the first question that popped into my head whenever I read this is the pay-per-view model still going to be the same? And I didn't see anything until about an hour before we came down to record, and it said yes, the pay-per-view model is going to be the same, but it also said ... for now. So we still have a lot of questions, and I'll tell you one group of individuals that is not real happy, and that's ESPN. Apparently they were in the running for this as well, and Vince decided to go with NBC Universal. Obviously they've had a 30+ ship, and it just kind of seems like it's natural, but I guess ESPN has just like instantly pulled the plug on all things WWE on their network.
Wow.
We're doing some publicity stuff and bringing guys in for events, and I think even this week there was some stuff scheduled, like Roman Reigns was supposed to appear, Sports Center or something to promote the show, and that gone. So it's going to be interesting moving forward. I think that the big play here is the WWE Network has like 1.7 million users, and Peacock has 26 million users. At a fraction of the cost, you're being exposed to quadruple, if not more, the amount of people. I mean,
oh gosh,
almost, yeah. It's just coming down to dollars and cents here. And then right after this came out, WWE reports, we had the best 2020. We had the best Q4 in 2020 that you could ever imagine. A great fiscal year. Yeah, I wonder why, pal.
Aren't pandemics great like that?
Worked out for all the billions.
Remember that one year we cut like 15 or 20 guys? That was a good year.
Yeah.
Remember that one year we jumped into like 8 digits, or wait, no, what is it? 10 digits, $1 billion. Good Lord. I mean,
$1 billion was probably one of their power bills after they did a Thunderdome.
Truth be told, not to say that they didn't invest. They spent the money for when it was like, all right, well, we're going to put on a show in Florida during a pandemic. We're going to invest to make it seem cool. It does seem cool. I mean, it's not the same.
Yeah, it's cool.
But it's cool. I mean, it's a neat layout. The writing goes from like, oh, this is good, to like, this is terrible. Why are we? What is this? Kind of goes back and forth. But
I have a feeling.
One of the things I was thinking about, and I've been thinking about with this, is the NBC Universal stuff. I mean, as far as ESPN is concerned, ESPN can go, eat a bag of dicks, because like, one, ESPN is basically the WWE of sports anyway. It's just not good analysis. And two, at what point was like, look, the fact that WWE is going to NBC totally makes sense, and I think for right now, in my opinion, is a good thing. And here's why. how many streaming services are you currently subscribed to? Because if I had to think hard enough about it, it's less than 10, but I'm probably on the low end of people. But it's close to 5, at least, right? So it's like WWE, Hulu, Netflix, Disney Plus, Amazon Prime. That's 5, plus Xbox Game Pass, plus PlayStation Plus, plus that fucking Nintendo one that my son likes to play, plus what else? I'm sure there's more. I had Amazon Luna for a hot minute. I don't think I ever paid for that though. What else? Anyway, I'm just saying, like, that's 9. So I just rattled off like
that's like easily $100 a month, close to it. Basically in streaming services.
Oh, so Spotify and Hulu are together, but I mean, that's 10 just rattled off. So the fact that you can condense a lot of this stuff now. In my opinion, anything that's taking more streaming services and making them the same streaming service for not more money, to me, is the way to go. Because more streaming services is just like, good God, I have to have one. Like, imagine if you're like a DC fan. There was a DC only streaming service. That's now been incorporated into HBO Max. But at the same time, it's just like everybody can't have their own thing. So like ESPN, I don't know how many users the ESPN streaming service has, but for me, that's basically the same as it being the WWE Network. To me, the WWE Network would like absorb ESPN as opposed to the other way around. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, though. When ESPN first came out, I was one of those guys that jumped on it because, I'm a big UFC guy. And I thought that model was going to be more like the WWE Network model, where you pay a flat rate every month and then you have access to the pay-per-views. Well, you had access to the pay-per-views, but you still had to pay the $69.99 every month for them. So to me, that wasn't a win. So bye-bye ESPN Plus. That was literally the only reason why I had it, was for the UFC content.
That's exactly why I got the TNA app and then ended up just canceling that, because I know you and I discussed last week. It's like, so can I not watch the pay-per-view on Saturday?
Nope, 30 days, pal.
Yeah,
didn't
realize that.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Like, why would I pay for your why would I pay for your subpar content to then pay more for your terrible pay-per-view?
Yeah, it's just I'm good on all that, and I don't know. Let's just right now. I mean, it's new. Obviously, the news just broke this morning. We're not really sure. Details coming in are kind of sketchy and kind of out there and bouncing all over the place. It's going to be interesting to see, but I do like the fact that they're launching on Thursday or March 18th. And then they're doing a pay-per-view on March 21st, Fastlane, right before WrestleMania. So they're going to get a chance to kind of work out all the kinks.
Terrible pay-per-view, though.
Yeah,
I can't sit around and be like, man, remember that one Fastlane?
Man, last year's Fastlane was so memorable.
Not a lot of those happening.
It's smart, though, because it's going to give them a chance to work out the kinks going into WrestleMania. Yeah. So then they don't have to worry about, this didn't happen, and we didn't do this right. And, and it takes away from WrestleMania being this big 2-day event again, with fans, apparently, at Raymond James Stadium. So I like the move. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. The big question that I had, other than the pay-per-view question, was, what's going to happen with NXT? Because we'd already heard that, the NBC Sports Network, a lot of the hockey content and some of those other obscure things that the NBC Sports Network airs. And, from what I see, NXT is going to pretty much just remain the same for now. It'll still air on USA on Wednesday nights, and then the replay will be available on the WWE Network the following day, just like it has since the USA Network NXT thing has come about. But I do still think that a Tuesday switch is coming, because you figure...
I mean, maybe. You might be right on that, but my thought on that, and this is kind of what I was getting into before we sort of change the subject, is that I think that the NBC Sports going away, but then this being part of the app, I think what's going to happen is that you will get you be able to stream. Let's say hockey. Let's say they're carrying a Wednesday night rivalry game or something like that, and it's Pens versus the Flyers, and that's going to be on USA. But and that starts at 7:00. Well, obviously that bumps NXT. Well, NXT will be streaming live on the Peacock app. Now, that may or may not. I think is the Peacock app free if you have cable. Like, can you just log in and get it?
Yeah, it is. It's a part of the Xfinity X package. It's complimentary with that. And then I saw something about Cox Cable Company, and I'm not really sure who that is, where that is.
I think I think I just get it with FiOS too. I think it's just like a thing. Like you just log in with your cable service provider and you just get it.
And one thing for me is I'm an Amazon Fire Stick guy, and Amazon Fire Stick isn't on the list.
It's not. You can't get Peacock on because I have 2 Fire TVs, and I don't use Peacock, but I would. I mean, I have a Roku TV up here, so I mean, I could obviously just use it up here. But
yeah, and Roku was on the list. Apple products were on the list. I mean, Xbox was on the list, but yeah, no Fire Stick, no Fire TV, nothing like that.
I mean, I have the PlayStation and an Xbox hooked up to the Fire TVs, so I guess where push comes to shove, just put it on the Xbox or the PlayStation. But man, it
sounds like there'll be some ways around it, but they're not hitting all major players.
That sounds like an oversight to me if it's not going to be on Amazon. Because I mean, I know a lot of people that just use the Fire Stick is super convenient. It's awesome. You can hate on Amazon or whatever as much as you want, but the Fire Stick, the layout is clean, it's fast, it gets regular updates, things just work. I really like that. Also, if you're a video game fan, Amazon Luna actually works really, really, really well, and it did right out of the gate. The game selection is fine. It's not really worth paying for that game selection. It's all on. It's a bunch of indie games and a bunch of Metroidvanias that everybody's already played because they're all 3 or 4 years old. But I mean, it works.
I saw your review that you did over on your Throws and Brews channel, and it was very insightful, pal.
I appreciate the shout out. The game list isn't the best, but I mean it works like a champ. I mean, it just works.
Just worked. You loaded that thing right up on that review on there. So
I mean, I did that live. That wasn't. I didn't cut anything. I was just like, here we go. Oh, look, there's the game. It plays. Hit the button. I did buy the Luna controller because I had the option to, and I'm a kind of a controller geek. And it's a Bluetooth controller too, so I'm actually using it on my PC. It's actually really good. It looks really cool, and it feels really good. And it's got these purple under the thumbsticks that I like a lot. It feels really good.
It's real Xbox feel to it. There,
it is. It is a little smaller. It's kind of like the new Xbox controller. It feels a lot like that. But I mean, it's as far as Amazon stuff is concerned, they may be the mega corporation that's going to take over the world and kill us all, but at least we'll be entertained, right?
Yeah, well, we can't watch Peacock on it, so. And the other thing here too is that this is only going to affect the United States. This doesn't have anything to do with anybody internationally. So the WWE Network's still going to exist. It's just not going to be available in the United States, which I think is an interesting little wrinkle.
Is it going to stream in higher definition?
They're none of the the specs as far as the streaming ability and graphics and all that stuff has been discussed to this point. I think this is new news here that we're going to probably start seeing some of that information, I would imagine, over the next couple of weeks. But right now it's just talking about, hey, this is the deal and this is where we're at.
Because I have a beef with the WWE and how things are shot, because I'm a person who owns several 4K televisions at this point. Because basically that's where they are. That's just where you are now.
Hey, just watch SmackDown, pal.
Just what now?
SmackDown. It'll fix all that for you.
Yeah. Okay. SmackDown looks good. Okay, but the difference between SmackDown and Raw and NXT is It's like playing PlayStation 3 versus playing PlayStation 5. It's bad.
Well, that's also the difference of $1 billion and a couple $1 million too. So
Okay.
let's put that into perspective.
Hey, look, bump that up. All right, I at least want to see it in 1080, like a clean 1080 with a clean frame rate. Right? It's barely like it's like 720 with like maybe like we'll talk about 30 frames per second. Oh, you get a 60 hertz television. Well, sorry, Dolph Ziggler's entrance like flashes or we can't handle that with our camcorders that we bought back in the early 90s to film Stone Cold going they need to up that. So they just got $1 billion.
Jeffrey Penis out of this.
Yeah, let's get So they just got $1 billion. I expect to see some investment in like the video fidelity and frame rates because I'm telling you what, man, I spent a lot of time with my PlayStation 5, and to go from playing some PS5 at 4K 60 frames per second and then watching WWE Network is like, wait. This is just streaming. This is just streaming video. This isn't like playing a game with like, frames and stuff. Like this is just streaming video. This should look better. Why does this look so bad? And it just
Tom bashing the high definition quality of the WWE has become the new Joey Janela.
Yeah. Well, it sucks in the same way that Joey Janela sucks.
Well, guess we can't reset that timer this week.
Bum bum bum.
No.
Man, wait, we were still at 0, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
we would have had to have gotten through today to be at 1.
Hey, he wasn't on. Speaking of Jelly Nutella, he wasn't on. He wasn't on this week either, was he? Did I miss him?
I didn't watch AEW this week.
Unless it was on Dark.
In my week.
No, I mean I don't want. Dark doesn't count. That's not real. That's not real. Peter Avalon was on.
He was.
Peter Avalon has put on a better match on AEW television than Joey Janela has at this point in time.
So, before we get too deep in the weeds on Joey Janela,
that's it. I'm done.
What do you guys think? Do you think there's any chance that it possibly sparks sort of like a buying spree? Like maybe we'll see ESPN start trying to move towards an NJPW, or try to see maybe Anthem try to pick up AEW, or maybe even TNT make their own streaming service. Honestly, I'm hoping so.
Already has their own streaming service, pal.
Do they? Yes. Does it have AEW on it? Because I did not realize this.
It does.
Wow.
But you have to.
Well, then they need to get with Anthem and combine them, and also get NJPW because their streaming service is terrible.
Oh yeah, it is.
Yes,
real bad.
That's what I want to see. ESPN, go buy NJPW, please. I would then have ESPN Plus. That would be a nice bonus for my parents who like to watch college basketball on there. That would not be a great bonus for me, but that would be nice with me. I would give them my password.
And before you guys all jump on the thing, no, Derek does not live in his parents' basement, even though he appears that he lives in his parents' basement.
I live across from their basement.
That I live in my
completely separate yard.
This is a house that I currently own. This is what it looks like on the inside, at least of this room.
Yeah.
We all own our homes.
I'm in my own basement.
That's Walt's own basement,
where I belong.
Well, hey, it's gonna have my couches in it. So, well, they're gonna be your couches.
Oh, bro, I can't wait. Like
you can come take them whenever. I don't care. I'll sit on the
I can't wait.
Just come take them. It's fine.
No, I'm good. Like, what am I gonna do?
Whenever you're like, whenever it's a nice day, don't do it on a cold ass day.
No,
don't move couches on a cold day. But
I'll see if I can get little goat boy to come with me.
That's fine.
I got shit to do that day.
Be ready for an uncomfortable hug, both of you.
It'll be uncomfortable for Derek. It won't be uncomfortable for me because I
didn't think it would.
30
You've
years,
experienced it before.
Yeah. Hey, so the thing I want to touch on this week too, that we don't usually talk about, but I feel the need is some ratings this week.
Oof.
So, Tom, you were the only one amongst the three of us that watched Monday Night Raw this week, and
Oof.
how'd that treat you?
Oof.
So
I wish I wouldn't have. So okay. Just to put this into perspective, and I think I'm still talking about this, right? This is the last week, because today's Monday as we're recording this currently.
Yes.
Last week was the week where the main event was the Alexa Bliss becomes an invincible demon match, I believe.
Yes.
That's what I was cursing about. I'm not.
Yes, that's correct.
I haven't fallen through time or anything. It's been a weird week. So, I mean, the whole Fiend, Randy Orton, Alexa thing has jumped the shark. For those of you who don't know, Jump the Shark is a thing that happened in Happy Days when Fonzie, with his leather jacket on, jumped over while water skiing a shark-infested water. It's really dumb. Even if you were to watch it currently, like in the 70s, it was dumb. Current day, it's dumb. Happy Days, otherwise, though, was a good show up until that point when it jumped the shark. So, the Alexa Bliss Fiend thing, I was into it. I was into Alexa. I was into evil Alexa. I was into Alexa with the Fiend. I was into that sort of Joker Harley Quinn type of relationship. But this week, obviously, the Fiend is obviously Randy Orton murdered the Fiend with fire, murdered him. And then I was even still into it when Alexa wanted Randy to murder her with fire. And this was only a couple weeks ago. And I was like, the rest of that episode of Raw was not great. But that part, I was like, man, I'm really into what Alexa's doing right now. I'm really into this. Well, last week is where it jumped the shark. The lights go black. Alexa changed her clothes real quick. Now, obviously, it's, they have those like 30-second. It's live, but it's not live because it's not in front of a live audience. So, she's changed her
movie magic.
Yeah, it's magic. She's changed her clothes and her hair is done a little bit differently. And now she's invincible. So she's no selling stuff and she's just taking hits. And she kind of made Asuka look terrible. Asuka, who is still the women's champion, by the way. And then they did the flash of the lights. So Alexa Bliss is a very developed character, right? Like she's been a character for a long, long, long time. And even the Alexa Bliss with the Fiend was not supernatural, right? Like she was just sort of brainwashed by the Fiend, who himself, I felt like they pulled away from the supernatural pretty decently a little bit. But because obviously with Seth Rollins and when all the lights were red and all that, and it was like, that was terrible. But
yes, they realized that very quickly.
Like I felt like they pulled away from that and he wasn't like supernatural, but then we're like, no. Now Alexa's supernatural. And she's maybe the embodiment of the Fiend or whatever it is. I haven't watched tonight, obviously, because here we are. But it was so nonsensical. And I don't want to say it was out of the blue because it was like in the ballpark of what they had been working on. But it if in the ballpark was like in the toilet in the basement of the ballpark because it was shit. And it made Asuka look bad and it made Alexa look bad and it was just bad. So Raw's ratings were bad. They have been bad. They've been dipping. I can't remember if Raw's rating was as bad as the previous.
I've got the number in front of me.
Go ahead. What was it?
So the episode with the Asuka nonsense had a average viewership of 1.854 million, and the episode with the Randy Orton Fireball had an average viewership of 1.819 million, with the Asuka episode, hour 1 being 1.991, hour 2 1.875, hour 3 being 1.697, which surprisingly enough is down from hour 1 and up in hours 2 and 3, and up substantially in the third hour.
So it sounds like basically what you're saying is
I bet. So you earned the rating that you got the week before, and they got a little pop from the Legends night. because Raw had been at like the 1.2 million mark for a while and just kind of struggling around there. So the fact that it's up close to 2 mil again just means that legacy. I mean, it's addicting. It's one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, I could keep watching this, and then you tune in the next week.
Did they have to? Okay, so 2 things with that. Possibly us as longtime viewers every week tuning in, we've known how they've been booking Asuka, how they've been booking Alexa Bliss. Mainly, we should be focusing on Alexa Bliss here. She didn't need to be booked strong. She didn't need to go up against Asuka for the fans such as us who have been watching. I would kind of assume they've got big plans for Alexa, and they needed her to go up and look strong for these new people that we've just recently picked up, it seems like. Now, the fireball to the Asuka thing, it sounds like it was honestly just like a rounding error difference.
She fought a fireball to Randy Orton. So she shot Randy Orton with a fireball. Which,
then he has a mask on and he's got red eyes because it's rough.
Right.
It hurts. It hurts. He's got the cream. Yeah.
Has anybody seen that's not the first fireball. That might be like at least the 3rd or 4th fireball. Have there been any good fireballs in wrestling?
Yeah, we went over this last week, pal. Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior in WCW.
Yeah, right. Oh, okay. Yeah,
that was the greatest fireball of all time.
The one that didn't work? At least this one worked.
It did work. It worked well. I've seen the clip of it. But honestly, fellas, I think the second part of that was I think we're missing the Fiend here. I think it was a mistake to write him out and now bring us to just Randy Orton and Alexa. I think it lost all momentum. All momentum.
Randy murdered.
Yeah, Randy killed a guy. Yeah. He murdered a man on live television.
Burned him alive.
And then he showed up the next week.
No, he didn't.
And No. Randy did.
Oh, Randy did. Right.
He's not arrested or anything, but he killed this man. It's fine because it happened in the Thunderdome. There are no rules for Thunderdome.
He signed a contract, pal.
Of the match. You can murder people.
Yeah, he signed a contract. He signed away his rights.
He knew what he was getting himself into.
He signed a contract to get murdered, right? I mean,
Mr. Police Officer, man. I have this piece of paper that has Mr. Wyatt's signature on it that said, "I am not liable if he dies."
Yep. Sorry about his luck.
Am I right, Mr. Lawyer Man?
I lit him on fire on live television, but it wasn't my fault. I'm not liable for that man's death.
Am I right, Mr. Lawyer Man?
That's not like that because,
nobody put him out either.
Yeah, Tom.
That's the worst part. So remember when that used to happen like back in the Attitude Era? Because that's not the first Inferno match ever. They lit Kane on fire, if you remember. And then they also lit The Undertaker on fire.
And it didn't suck. That's the thing.
Well, they put him out. Like they were just like,
oh, it did not suck. Whenever he
catch on fire, when you catch on fire, you lose. The Fiend had caught on fire. He was on fire, and he went and to choke Randy Orton, and the Fiend had already lost, but Randy Orton still RKO'd him while he was on fire, and then doused him in lighter fluid and lit him on fire again for there was 2. Apparently, you need to be on fire twice to lose the match. There was no bell the first time the Fiend was on fire, which there should.
There wasn't enough fire.
It need to be burnt to a crisp for it to be legitimate.
You should have read the fine print. It was in there.
Well, and I feel like also within WWE canon, Gallows and Anderson are also dead. Although they're on Impact and they're on AEW sometimes.
But they're also dead. They just declared for the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, they did. It was
but they're dead anyway. The Undertaker killed them in that Boneyard match. They're dead. AJ Styles was also dead, but he like a spring chicken, just bloop. That's AJ Styles. AJ Styles should be the creepy dude in all of this. He was dead. Right?
The man never ages. His hair just grows longer. That's all it is. As long as you don't cut his hair, he'll stay the same age.
Watch the Undertaker kill him and bury him alive.
Hey, at least he doesn't look like a soccer mom anymore.
No. He grew his hair out. It's not so Karen anymore.
Yeah.
So on the flip side of things, let's talk about SmackDown ratings. Okay, this week they had an average viewership of 2.282 million, which was up 6% from last week at 2.153 million. Number 8 in overall viewership on Friday. Like,
That's because it's a good
What-
show.
what are we mere?
What are we missing? We're not like there. It's Raw is bad and not fun to watch. SmackDown is good and fun to watch. That's the
Raw
difference.
bad, SmackDown good.
But here's the
Yeah,
thing.
it's, I mean,
Why is it that continually, week after week, we continue to get news in the spotlight on Friday night on a show that is owned by Roman Reigns, the face of WWE, but yet there's plenty of time in a 2-hour show to get some of these guys some camera time and give some of these guys some in-ring time. Hell, 2 weeks in a row, we've gotten quality Cesaro matches. 2 weeks in a row, we've gotten quality Cesaro promos. 2 weeks in a row, we've seen Cesaro take on somebody different. But
we also got Big E and Apollo Crews. Like,
yeah, that was a good match too.
Yeah, that's been good stuff.
We got
Yeah.
we got a lot of Daniel Bryan,
Yeah.
which is good.
And here's the thing. And Derek, you sent this in the group earlier, and we had talked about this, in between times. Daniel Bryan's on Friday night's creative team, and he's wanting to bring a lot of these NXT guys up because he sees things in them. Daniel Bryan, the winds of change in WWE's creative process.
Is Daniel Bryan just better at writing things than whomever's writing Monday night? Because I can't imagine Daniel Bryan writing anything that happens on Monday.
As far as I know, he is specifically to Friday.
Well, and additionally,
I don't think the answer though is to move Daniel, or not to move him specifically, but to split him, because we've seen this before where you just get burned out. I don't think he needs to be writing 5 hours of television. It's obvious that 2 hours is his sweet spot. Let's keep him there. Let him do his thing.
Tom, you have a point?
Well, the point I'm trying to make here too is, yeah, I mean, Friday also has all of the talent to work with. On Mondays you have Drew, who's out sick. Honestly, since Drew has been out, like SmackDown, Raw was better when you could sort of wrap a show around Drew McIntyre, because Drew's just better. I mean, the Legend show wasn't good, but Drew himself is good. And when you can wrap a show around Drew, it does work better. These last couple of weeks have suffered with the lack of Drew. Now, however, without Drew, I mean, on SmackDown, you've got a ton of people. Like you said, Cesaro, you've got a lot of guys who can just go.
Yeah.
Really, without Drew, it's basically just AJ. And AJ's been the highlight of Raw since Drew's been out, even though Drew cuts cell phone promos. So, I mean, I really think there's also that whole sort of like the talent. It's very lopsided, where there's 2 hours of SmackDown that has most of the talent, if not most of, like a lot of the talent, probably more than is necessary for a 2-hour show. And on Monday, the talent pool is rather sparse. It's not a lot of guys that have had a lot developed, not a lot of guys involved in a lot of current storylines, and not a lot of guys who I think Vince is sort of the go-to guys that he relies on. Even like, as love or hate him, like Baron Corbin's a guy that Vince relies on to be a bad guy week in, week out, and be involved in things, stir the pot, and make something happen. They hand him the microphone, go out there, have a match. Even if it's the same match where you slide out of the ring, slide back in the ring, nobody gets hurt in that match. It's not a terrible match. Nobody messes up. Nobody makes huge mistakes. Stuff like that. So even just like that steady hand, like the Baron Corbin or something, it's basically just AJ, kind of carrying a show, and he's not the top star. He's not, he doesn't even hold a title at the moment, and so it's hard to like build a show around that, and I feel like they're missing a piece of star power in a guy that maybe has been built for a while that just isn't there. I mean, I know Seth is out. I feel like Seth would be a big addition to put back on Monday nights, just to have that other top guy,
100%. But, and here's the thing, like, I hear what you're saying, bud, as far as like, SmackDown's more lopsided on the talent side of things, but they've gone out and they've made that happen because Cesaro's a guy that's been passed around for the last 5 or 6 years.
Sure.
Yeah, he found a fit in the bar with Sheamus, and that was a great tag team run. But he's always been a quote unquote single guy, and the thing is, like, Apollo Crews is another guy that started to get a little bit of a push on Monday night, and then miraculously he winds up on SmackDown and he's in his title picture. So there's a problem on Monday nights. This is not a talent thing. There is a problem on Monday nights. Night Raw is being successful on SmackDown, and they're making me believe that they're talented enough to be in that position because they are. So why can they not get the same results on Monday? Is it something to do with the networks? Is it something to do with because it's the flagship show that Vince has to have it a certain way? Is it something to do with the fact that Bruce apparently is overseeing both creatives and he doesn't give a shit about Monday nights? Does it have something to do with the fact that maybe because Paul Heyman has moved over to Friday and he's a little bit more involved than we think that he is? What's the deal? Because there's some sort of disconnect between Monday and Friday. And we need to close the gap because I'm going to say it until I'm blue in the face. If WWE doesn't do something to build their talent, there's not going to be a WWE to watch.
Well, to be fair to that, I don't think that necessarily they're not doing anything not to build the talent. I think that talent is being built. I think NXT has a lot of talent being built. Truthfully, I don't understand why somebody like Adam Cole hasn't been moved already. In all
because they look at developmental at this point. I mean, it's a third show, so they've got to have. Anymore. It's not like. I mean, obviously Vince can call up Triple H and say, "Listen, pal, I need all your women's division," but I just don't see that happening anymore. It's not the developmental brand anymore. It's an entire different show, different feel, different storylines, everything. So they've got to keep, that channel going as well. I mean, we've got a whole nother 2-hour cable episode every week now that we've got to deal with, that we've got to have stars for, and you've got to have people that you care about.
For me, every single week when I sit down to watch wrestling, the first thing that I'm watching is NXT. To me, it's a show it's one of the best pro wrestling shows on TV right now.
Yes. NXT, SmackDown, AEW.
Yes. And I love SmackDown. Don't get me wrong, but Monday Night Raw it's bad.
Well, I honestly think, fellas, that you probably hit the nail on the head there with your Vince look at things. And I know that's the easy route to take, but we all know that for years Vince has loved Roman Reigns, and I could honestly see it like this: that over on SmackDown, Vince is probably seeing, that they're going to push Roman. They're going to push Roman. Looks good. Don't even need to worry about that. He's over here stirring the pot in the Raw brand because he's got nothing else to pique his interest over here. So he's just trying to throw something out there. And honestly,
his OCD is focused. His OCD is focused on Monday night.
Yeah, he's got to do something because he's happy with what he's seeing over here. So he's just screwing everything around over here, seeing what they can come up with. And to be honest with you, I have been dreading how they are going to handle this Drew McIntyre Goldberg match at the Royal Rumble. I can't say that I'm looking forward to it. I'm honestly dreading the thought that Goldberg is going to walk away with the title.
Yeah,
it's a real possibility, fellas.
It totally could happen.
Yeah, I'm not like excited to see this in any way.
When that showdown first happened, I was like, "Oh God, don't make Drew drop it to Goldberg."
Right.
For the love of God. Now, to solidify Drew's title reign and to solidify Drew as a legitimate champion, if Drew just decimates, because think about like they had. Speaking of Braun, where the hell's Braun? Braun hurt? Braun Strowman? Anybody seen him? He died.
He was.
I saw him on the Instagram.
He's rehabbing. If you remember correctly, a few months back, he had a little shoulder issue, and he got suspended indefinitely.
Right, suspended indefinitely to rehab your shoulder that we had to mechanically reconstruct, you monster human.
But if you see him on Instagram, he is looking larger than ever.
That's he does look swole too. He is shredded. You know what? Now that you say that, he is big and like.
He posted something a couple of days ago. He was just like, and like there was just shit everywhere. Like there was muscles on top of muscles on top of muscles, and my man didn't.
He's never been a big ab guy, but he had abs.
Yeah, he's looking jacked. Not be surprised to see him on Sunday.
No, me neither. Nor would I be surprised to watch him just chuck dudes. That would be fun, actually. I would really enjoy that. If Braun shows up and just chucks dudes and actually wins, because it's like, I'm back, Drew, I'm going to throw you. Like, I'd be super into that.
You know who else I wouldn't be surprised to see on Sunday?
Who?
Brock Lesnar.
No, I wouldn't be surprised to see him either. I would love to.
I don't think we see him.
No,
probably
his name's been in the rumor mill an awful lot this week.
All right. So if we pause there, because I do want to talk about last year's Royal Rumble when Brock entered number 1 and was just chucking dudes. I loved every second of that. And it was one of those moments where I was like, God, I'm so over Brock, right? Because I was at that point in time until he showed up and just started chucking dudes. And I'm like, you know what? This is phenomenal. This is why I liked Brock Lesnar in the first place, just because he would like embarrass you and laugh at you. And God, that just it makes me like it tickles that same spot in my heart. It makes me that same level of happy as it did to watch those people who invaded the Capitol get pulled off airplanes and like get put on the no-fly list, and like to watch them cry. Like it tickles that same like just level of joy, because I'm actually a bad person on the inside. I'm really like there's this black spot in my heart that like if you rub it just right, it's just like everything gets warm and fuzzy. And like that's one of those things, to just watch somebody laugh at somebody else's misery, especially when they deserve it. And look, everybody in the WWE deserves to be just chucked over the top rope by Brock Lesnar while Brock laughs at you with those little chiclet teeth he has in there. What's up with Brock's teeth, by the way? Does he like chew leather all day? Like he's a
Listen,
he's like basically, yeah.
Like he kills animals on his property and like field dresses them with.
It's because bones are actually they're rough on his teeth. After a while, he's like a horse. They continually grow, so he has to keep them worn down by chewing on the leather and the bones of anything he can kill while he's out foraging.
So saying he wears his teeth down by chewing the bones of his.
Oh, this has gone off the fucking rails.
That actually makes sense. I like that. I'll go with that.
You know what I want to see? I want to see Brock Lesnar come out chucking dudes, and at number 30, after he's just standing there laughing, Braun Strowman comes out and kicks his ass. And yeah, that'd be great. I don't want to see a lot because I know we're not going to see Braun, as far as a long-term character. So let Braun come back and let him take him.
I'd like
whatever. I mean, you'd have to ask Braun nicely, Brock nicely.
I think if you let Brock if you're like Brock, you can totally chuck and embarrass Riddle, and then also like you can chuck Goldberg, because I'm sure that'll make you happy, and Hulk Hogan. Fuck it, chuck
Brock. We will give you 15 dudes you can chuck. You just got to take the fall for this one.
Any 15 dudes, whoever you want. You can throw them as hard as you want. As hard as you want.
I'm excited for the Rumble. I really hope they don't fuck this up this year because last year's Rumble was good. It was a good
It was
show.
fantastic. Like I
Yeah,
was just
The
saying,
Rumble is one
Rumbles
of
are
my
fun.
favorite.
it
Rumble's
tickled
always
that
fun.
black spot in my heart. That just. And I ended the Rumble, just the whole Rumble. Like I watched it like this.
I was a little fanboy when Edge made his return. I'm not even gonna lie. I was like a 5-year-old little boy in a room full of men whenever it happened. I was like, oh yeah, that's it.
Mhm.
Ah! Yeah,
Because
whatever. It
Edge
was
was
great.
also the best bad guy.
Oh,
What a
loved it.
terrible human Edge was. As a superstar. Like we're talking
In
about
real
bad.
life, even.
Like Edge was a terrible human, and we liked him.
Yeah. No regrets. Hey, so I have a real quick question here. MSK over on NXT, the Rascals. Hype or real deal?
I'm good with it. I think it's good. I think they're good. I think their promos are kind of crappy.
They're
Like
gonna
their
get
little
better.
backstage stuff. But I'm happy to see where this goes. I have no complaints.
Tom, what do you think?
Tom, you were up
I think
there
it's a good. I
doing
think
a
it's a
little
good.
list
Like,
action.
it's okay. It's fine. I'm intrigued enough to keep watching. I don't think that I'm just like, oh my god, I'm in love. It's good.
So
I like
here's
it.
what I think. I think that NXT brought them in solely based on the hype, and Triple H is like, okay, here you go, guys. Have this prime spot. Make me believe it. Make me believe your hype.
Maybe.
Because that's what I feel is happening right now.
I mean, I feel like thus far that you might be right because I don't feel thus far that I've necessarily been convinced, but it seems like there might be something there. So, give me a couple more weeks.
Yeah, for sure. I just wanted to plant the seed. Hey, and one thing too, and then we'll go ahead and jump into match of the week here. Did you guys catch the women's tag team title match this week on SmackDown? The Riot Squad versus Charlotte and Asuka?
Yes.
Oh man, they kicked out Billy Kay.
Yeah, she's definitely one of the most entertaining things on television right now.
I do enjoy me some Billy Kay. But I wasn't. Had you asked me like a year and a half ago, I'd have been like, I don't know how I feel about that. Iconics. But I don't know. They've grown on me.
Oh man, I loved the Iconics when they were a thing. I hate that they broke them up.
Yeah, I don't like that they broke them up either. They've grown on me sort of like a fungus, and Billy Kay particularly.
Yeah.
So I know that when we did episode 3, the state of women's wrestling, we were talking about up and comers and people challenging the title. Ruby Riott was one of those names that got brought up. After watching that tag team match, you really, really got to see just how underprepared Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan are when they're in the ring with Asuka and Charlotte Flair. The skill level difference was so glaring that it was hard for me to watch.
I mean, I don't know that it was hard for me to watch, but you're right. There was a level of, and I don't know if maybe it was jitters but you're right. There was certainly a level. It wasn't. It was fine. I didn't see any like huge glaring errors, but there certainly seemed to be some timing deficiencies. On the spot.
And I feel like if they don't have it at this point, they've been doing this forever. This is your craft. I mean, Ruby Riott's been a thing since before the WWE. She came in with all kinds of hype. And yeah, I'm just not. I've never been convinced. I'm still not convinced.
I really do. I want Ruby Riott particularly. I kind of don't give. Liv Morgan, I feel like has got like Liv Morgan used to be like really bad. I thought she was the one holding the Riot Squad back, truthfully, for a while. Obviously, she was the pretty one, so maybe that's why they kept her around. But I've sort of always been like I'm a fan of the character of Ruby Riott, but I've never been particularly enthralled by her. I think probably the best that she ever was a ragdoll for Ronda Rousey. because I mean she was strong enough that like Ronda could grab her arm and throw her like a rag doll, and it didn't necessarily destroy her. Although she did get hurt. I don't know if it was against Ronda, but like she worked Ronda with Ronda for a lot, and those matches, I mean, they were squash matches, but like she looked good getting killed. But as far as maybe you're right, maybe she's not like a legit top tier. Maybe she's just a like get killed tertiary kind of hover around what may or may not be the title picture in some aspect and just not ever really win.
I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Seems like she had potential.
I don't know. I don't want to see her win. Mark it down. Not a fan. No.
Yeah.
Hey, too. So something that popped up right before we came in. I guess Booker T took Mark Henry to task today about the whole Ryback situation, and we can talk about that at another time once I have to gather some details. But apparently, it wasn't very good. Yeah. So, guys, match of the week.
Chucky Ducky Quack Quack?
Yeah, what he said.
Yeah. I'll go first.
Well, you usually do, pal.
Oh well, I step all over everything, and Derek.
You're on the left side of the screen.
That's Derek. Derek steps all over everything.
No, it's me. Anyway,
habitual line
stepper. I want to point out something that I criticize AEW, particularly the women's division, an awful lot. And this week I saw something, and I've been seeing a lot of potential. I've been seeing a lot of bad, but I've also been seeing a lot of potential. And this week I saw something, and I saw a match that I really enjoyed. Layla Hirsch versus Penelope Ford on Dynamite. And I mean, I got to say that I love what Layla Hirsch is doing. I like Penelope Ford. I think that match particularly was very good. It wasn't my favorite match of the week, but I thought that for an AEW Dynamite match, it was very good. I really feel like of all the people they have on AEW, particularly in the women's division, Layla Hirsch especially has something. I don't know what it is. It's a certain spark. It's a like Molly Holly type of thing with maybe even a little bit of like Ruby Riott mixed in, but like better at wrestling, and just sort of this like this aura about her of just like kind of this plucky, like just I like it. Whatever it is, I like it.
The in-ring is solid, and you're right. There's something there. She just got to find what it is.
It's there. There's the potential exists, and I feel like I always sort of start to see the magic with her, and I don't know. I mean, she's obviously very young, and this is like not. I feel like I'm sort of watching like a Charlotte or a Becky or something like that. So she's somebody I think to watch, and I feel like the match that they had last Wednesday was particularly good, and just everything about it really. Like there's a suplex, and it's on. They've got the GIF out, but there's a suplex where Penelope Ford just like suplexes Layla Hirsch down. The way the way Layla Hirsch sells it is just like it's. I mean, it doesn't get better. She doesn't. It's a very simple thing, but it's the little things, and she's got all the little things. So it's really that, and maybe it's just there's a lot of people on AEW that don't have the little things, and the fact that she has the little things, maybe that makes it stand out more. But I feel like she's somebody with the little things that is very important to watch, because just watching her get all of those little things right it's great. It's fun to watch, and she's fun to watch. So I'm happy about that. Now the match of the week though was Cesaro versus Dolph Ziggler. I mean, hands down. I mean, it just, hey guys, you two are really good at wrestling. You have a really good wrestling match.
And honestly, it was good promos as well.
Yeah, the promos were awesome. Listen, Cesaro said,
those two guys are those two guys. That's what I want to see in wrestling. I want to see a good promo. then I want to see a good match that's actually a good wrestling match.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of good arm bars, takedowns, drags. Cesaro with the toss up with the uppercut and the oh my god, the famouser looks good. The zigzag is fun. The oh my god, it's everything. They have all of the things. Their finishing moves look like finishing moves. They can wrestle as though they have wrestling skills.
It's almost like they know what they're doing.
It's almost like they go out there, and this isn't the first meeting between these two, but every time they ever go out and wrestle each other, it's like, hey guys, you guys paying attention? Because this is how you do it. And they just go out there. They didn't have a ton of time. I want to say it was like a 5 to 7 minute match or something.
Perfect.
Perfect. They knew how much time they had. They fit everything into a match. It never got boring. It never got sloppy. It looked crisp. All of the moves looked good. Everything looked, it seems like everything was safe. They both walked away from the match untethered, unhurt. Overall, it's like, man, if we could have a few of those, and I feel like, within WWE, there are guys who can do that, and we see that a lot. But I feel like there really aren't a lot of those guys on that level. I would give that match, an A. Like I'm not going to do stars. I'm going to do letter grades. I'd give that match an A. It had the right amount of time. They fit everything into that amount of time. What more could we have asked from them to go out and do? They're not in the middle of some kind of big feud or anything like that. They just went out there, put on a good match, solid 7 minutes of work.
Told a quick story.
Yeah, that was it.
It was
Go
good,
home.
And the promo setup was perfect. And I'm not even going to lie, Tom. When Cesaro told Daniel Bryan, he's like, Daniel, I already beat you. I don't need to face you again because I'm sick and tired of coming out here each and every week and proving myself over and over and over again. Somebody's coming to me. And when Dawg's music hit, I said, ooh, we're in for a banger. And that's what we got. We got a solid wrestling match. And it was fun to watch. Great, pal. Great pick.
Yeah. Good, great match. My favorite one of the week. It was
great pick.
It was the one that stuck with me through the weekend.
Pick. Goat boy.
D-Rock.
So Meltzer up there.
So my source has been telling me that gimmick matches is where it was at this week. So I've got to go with Timothy Thatcher and Ciampa in the pit. I dug it. I thought it was good stuff. It was a nice. It seems like this is finally the end of the feud. It was a good build-up. There was a reason why we were there. It wasn't just a gimmick match to have a gimmick match.
We're gonna get one more, pal.
We're gonna get. You think? I don't know.
It's 1-1.
I hope it's one more. I hope Derek's right.
1-1.
I think
the
way that they stopped, the way he was sitting there and everything was. I don't know. I felt like that was it. Maybe not.
So are you gonna sit here? You're gonna sit here. You're gonna sit here. You're gonna tell me that Tommaso Ciampa's just gonna sit there and take that like a bitch.
I mean, he put over Thatcher and made him look good. I'm assuming the goal here. It's not like Thatcher was the established character here. I mean, honestly, this feud has put Thatcher, to me at least, on my radar big time. The guy can work.
To do.
And he's got the most basic, like stone cold, just black, well, in his case, blue trunks. I love it. The whole presentation, the fact that he hasn't fixed his teeth. I know it's just an observation, but that adds to the whole persona that he's going for. Honestly, I was thinking about that earlier today whenever I was kind of mentally preparing for the show, and I just don't think it's the same delivery without the look that he has. He looks like a wild man. He looks like a guy that will beat your ass. I love it.
I mean,
the little
5-year-old down the corner could beat your ass. So.
Oh, that's not true.
That's a big 5-year-old. I don't want to hear that.
Say my 5-year-old.
Listen, bro. I'm a peacock. You got to let me fly.
Yeah.
My 7-year-old, he's a little bit scrappy.
So that's it.
Man.
That's your match of the week.
It's my match of the week.
It was good.
I'm guessing I'm not going to get the honor of the
best
good pick, pal.
That was the best match between those two.
Good shit, pal.
I don't know. I hope I agree. I hope you're right. That it's their best. I hope that is the end of that rivalry because I want Ciampa to move on. I'm over this. Like I want Ciampa to do better stuff. Timothy Thatcher can go fight for the North American Championship or whatever, but not like this.
I'm not ready for that yet.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, like
I could go either way. I could watch him do more. I could watch him split apart. It doesn't really matter. But I don't want to see him go after Gargano yet.
See, I feel like that would be something that I would be more into watching. I would rather watch Ciampa versus Balor. That to me is where the money is. That's where my money is. I feel like we're building to that, but that's where my money is. So I hope you're right. I hope Ciampa's done with this, and I hope he gets to move on. I hope he moves on to Balor, and I hope that's a thing because that's what I want to see. That's what my eyeballs wants to see. Anyway, well, what you got for us?
Go on that, pal. So I had a couple, mostly NXT matches this week. Surprise, surprise. My honorable mention would be The Way versus Leon Ruff and Kushida. I thought that was a fun little match. I really like The Way.
Like Kushida and Leon Ruff.
Yeah, but
Walt's just a Kushida mark. He can't help himself. If
God,
he's on the TV, he's got to get his eyeballs on.
Every single time that I get behind something, I'm a fucking mark.
You are. I mean, it's just
you sit there with Tony Khan's balls dangling in your mouth every week.
I mean,
and you want to talk to me about being a mark.
As soon as you like something, you got to just hammer it and hammer. We know you like Kushida, bro. We know.
I've said his name one other time on the podcast.
But one good trait about him.
I like that he knew
probably our worst rated podcast as well.
I've said his name on the podcast one other time.
So what about this
I'm pretty
match?
sure Tom busted your balls on that one.
That's what I like about the match.
Especially.
You know what? I like that it was a good tag team match. Okay, there was a lot of back and forth, and then there wasn't a lot of back and forth. The Way took over like they should have because they're the superstars in the match. They're the ones that you're paying the money to see. They started off the ring, frequent tags. They had Kushida isolated. Then they got the little hot tag, and in comes little baby Leon, and he starts the pace a little bit, making Austin Theory look a little silly, and then Austin Theory's got to go and run and do his little chicken shit thing, get Johnny back in there, and then we're back to square one, and then Johnny gets taken down, put over into the corner, the ring gets cut off. It was fun. Then all hell breaks loose, and all of a sudden Kushida gets a roll-up for the win. Because what that's doing is now it's setting up the North American title match that we all knew was coming between Johnny Gargano and Kushida's probably going to beat Gargano because that's the way the world works. As much as I want to see The Way and Johnny Gargano do their thing, this is just how it works. They've been building Kushida for months. Yeah.
He's going to end up being an interim champion, and it's going to be terrible.
This isn't the UFC, pal. We don't do interim champions.
I'm just saying he's going to hold it for 2 weeks. I'm not saying
then he's a transitional champion. If you want to sit here and you want to shoot with me, you better know your terminology before you start running your little dick sucker.
I have to use the right. You're smart. I'm dumb.
I agree with you, and honestly, I don't want. I don't want Kushida. I don't like Kushida. God, I'm sorry. If you like Kushida.
It's not that I like him. He's got something in the ring that is clearly there, just like Leon Ruff. There's something there. Tom thinks Leon Ruff's got naked pictures of Triple H or something. I mean,
I think he does.
maybe this is what's going on with Kushida, but I don't know. There's something there, and clearly
I think
Triple H
Leon
sees
Ruff
it.
gave them to Kushida, so now they both have those pictures.
That's a possibility too.
So
Hey,
we'll see.
sometimes it's what you know,
maybe
not who
they'll
you know.
lose a feud and get get their phones confiscated and get fired. Who knows? Maybe Triple H will release those naked pictures of himself and then fire them, and maybe we'll all be worse for it.
My match of the week was definitely not the best in-ring match of the week.
No, that was a good match, though. It was. I'm just giving you shit. I feel like that was.
That was an honorable mention, though.
It was a solid. That was just the honorable mention.
Yeah. Well, you quizzed me on it, so I had to break it down. I was just trying to breeze by it.
I appreciate it. No, I did quiz you. You're right.
Yeah. So, but my match of the week was not the best in-ring match all week. From the aspect of what it did, I enjoyed it. It was Jaden Carter and Casey Catanzaro versus Mercedes Martinez and Tony.
That was a good match.
Yeah, no, that was good. I like that better than your honor.
I enjoyed that simply
I
from the
love
fact.
Casey Catanzaro. Can I get on that fanboy train?
Yeah, hop on, pal.
She's just incredible. She's just amazing. I'm really glad that she didn't retire, and she's just great. I hope she comes back to Royal Rumble and does something really cool like she did last year with the hand walk. She's just great, and I want a lot more of her on my TV, please.
Yes, and I think now that they've got the rub from the two top contenders in the women's division in NXT, we're probably going to start seeing her a little bit more on TV. She's earned it.
But don't hurt her because she's little, and I feel like that was the problem. Is that, like, they were too rough with her, and
she makes Derek look big.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to pay probably the extra $15 to get a picture with her just so I could actually have something for the old Facebook profile that doesn't make me look like a tiny midget.
You probably still have to stand on a milk crate.
I would pay $15 to give Casey Catanzaro a hug.
Would it be a long, awkward one for 15, or you might have to throw in an extra?
I feel like Ricochet could beat me up.
Hey, you're not allowed to touch female talent anymore.
You can't hug them?
No, that's a thing now.
Oh, can you not
you're not allowed to touch female talent anymore. That's a thing.
Oh. Not even like a fist bump?
Nope, that's a thing. You're not allowed to touch female talent. Now, if they
no fist bumps.
No hugs, no prom pictures. Like, that's a thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fine. I don't need to, I suppose.
We have the,
you say prom picture. I straight up want one where I'm standing there.
Yeah.
And
there's definitely some prom pictures. I know there's a couple Becky Lynch prom pictures out there for sure.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, no, you're right.
So there's none of that anymore, boys. All right,
Speaking
gentlemen.
of Becky, she did post a picture to end on this, a happy picture of her and the baby.
Rue.
Everybody looks good. She appears to be working out.
Rue.
They got Rue. Not the best
baby
name for
thickening
a baby.
agent.
What?
Baby thickening agent.
Baby thickening agent.
Baby thickening agent. Becky appears to be back in the gym doing her thing. It's been a few months, so about to get good for her. Be back on recovery.
She looks good.
Obviously, I hope whenever we see her back in the ring, it's not another Brie mode incident like we saw last time, where she got a little off balance coming out of the ring there.
Same thing with or Maurice. Maurice didn't come back after her having children either. But it's she's obviously still the man. So good on Becky for coming back, or for getting back out there. Just be like, hey, here's the baby, here's me. We're back. Yeah. We're back in the saddle, getting back to work. Yeah.
That's reserved for a giant picture of Becky Lynch from when she invaded Raw and Nia Jax broke her face and she's standing at the top of the steps like this and there's just blood pouring from her face. That spot right there is reserved.
What a good moment. God.
That's a career-defining moment right there.
What a good moment. That's Gentlemen, go ahead.
Continue. Please continue.
I was gonna say that's the Stone Cold with the beer truck moment. Maybe even no. That's Austin 316 says I just whooped your ass. That's what that is.
That's exactly what that is.
Yep.
And Rue 316 says I'm gonna make a nice stew. So, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Even you, Derek.
Thanks, pal.
You're
always a pleasure.
Your insights are just so enthralling.
E-hug.
So, that'll do it for this week. If you like what we're doing, check us out on social media, both Twitter and Instagram at @1_FallWC. That is ONE. Derek runs the page. He does a pretty good job. Just ask him about it. He'll tell you.
And if you don't like what we're doing, fuck you.
Yeah, what he said, because we're having fun, and that's what we care about. Yeah. Secondly, check us out on YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, you know that we exist. Please like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Tom loves comments. He will eat them for late night snack time.
Delicious.
And I want to just throw this out there to everybody that listens to us on the audio side. We really do appreciate you. I love watching the show grow, and you guys are killing it. And shout out to New Jersey. I'm throwing it out there. Shout out to New Jersey for being one of the largest downloading audiences of these three Pittsburgh boys talking about some wrestling. We appreciate it.
They've got a big wrestling community up there, that's for sure. Well, I should say down there, not up there.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
No, it's
over. It's over. Up and over.
Yeah,
up and
all right.
over. Yeah,
Something like that.
Up and over.
It's around. So, but we appreciate it. So, guys, if that's all we got, I guess we'll call it a night.
I think that's a week.
All right. Royal Rumble next week on Sunday. Please don't miss it. I'm sure we're going to talk about it next week, huh? Best event of the year.
I love the Rumble.
Oh, I love the Rumble. Love the Rumble.
So
Maybe
good.
if we can get the band together early enough, we'll do a little pre-show. But who knows? It's hard getting the three of us in the same place at the same time.
Well, I mean, I gotta buy some wings. Maybe I'll eat wings and we can do a pre-show.
Oh,
Okay. You down for a pre-show there, little man?
But wings?
I mean, I haven't drank beer on an episode in a couple months, so maybe I'll bring a couple beers and we'll watch some Rumble.
That's probably why. Probably why
beer?
you've been
Pre-show?
so annoying. Yeah, we'll do a pre-show. Let's do it.
Wings and beer.
Yeah, let's do it.
Sounds
We'll do a
good.
pre-show. We'll talk about the Rumble. Cool. I like it. Let's hammer it out outside off air. All right. With that being said, thank you so much for hanging out. It's all love. We'll catch you next week. One Fall WrestleCast.